Imagine this. It's 2 a.m., a storm is raging outside, and suddenly everything goes dark. Your phone's dying, your food's warming, and you have no idea when the power's coming back. For most people, this is a nightmare, but for those who are prepared, it's just another Tuesday. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the 15 essential items that will transform any power outage from a crisis into a minor inconvenience. These aren't just random gadgets. These are battle-tested essentials that could literally save your life, or at the very least, save your sanity. And if you stick around until the end, I'll share the one mistake that makes 90% of emergency kits completely useless. Welcome to Food Decider, where we help you make smart decisions about food storage, emergency preparedness, and everything that keeps your family safe and fed. If you're serious about being ready for anything, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss our preparedness tips. Now let's get into it. When the power goes out, the first thing you need to worry about is staying connected. Your phone becomes your lifeline to emergency information, contact with loved ones, and potentially your only way to call for help. This is where power banks become absolutely indispensable. These portable charging devices can keep your essential electronics running for hours or even days, depending on their capacity. Not all power banks are created equal. You want to look for models with high capacity. We're talking at least 20,000 milliamp hours or more. The best ones have multiple charging ports, so you can juice up several devices at once. But here's where it gets really interesting. Some power banks can be recharged using solar panels or even your car battery, which means during extended outages, you're not completely out of options. Here's a pro tip that most people don't know about. If you already use battery systems for tools like Ryobi or Milwaukee, you can get adapters that let you charge your devices directly from those tool batteries. It's like having a massive power bank that you didn't even know you had. The key is to keep your power banks fully charged and stored in accessible locations. Don't wait until the storm warning comes. Make checking your power banks part of your monthly routine. Now let's talk about something that seems obvious, but is often overlooked: emergency lighting. When the sun goes down and you're plunged into total darkness, navigating your home safely becomes a real challenge. This is especially true as we get older. A simple trip to the bathroom can turn dangerous when you can't see where you're going. LED flashlights are your first line of defense. They're energy efficient, incredibly bright, and they last for hours on a single set of batteries. Headlamps are even better in some situations because they keep your hands free. And lanterns, they provide ambient light that can illuminate an entire room, making them perfect for family gatherings during an outage. But don't stop there. Battery-operated candles are fantastic because they give you that warm, flickering light without any fire risk. Some even come with timers, so they can act as night lights that automatically turn on when it gets dark. Solar-powered lights are another game changer. During the day, place them outside to soak up the sun. When night falls, bring them indoors. They work best in summer, but even in winter, they can provide some illumination. And yes, traditional candles still have their place. Just make sure you have waterproof matches or matches stored in vacuum-sealed containers. Moisture is the enemy of matches, and there's nothing more frustrating than trying to light a damp match in a dark house during an emergency. Speaking of staying informed, you need a way to get information when your Wi-Fi is down and your phone's battery is running low. This is where battery-powered or hand-crank radios become essential. NOAA weather radios are specifically designed to receive emergency broadcasts and weather alerts even when everything else fails. The beauty of modern emergency radios is that they don't rely solely on batteries. Many come with solar panels and hand cranks, so even if your batteries die, you can still power them up. Just a few minutes of cranking can give you enough juice to hear critical updates. Don't just buy one radio and call it done. Keep radios in multiple locations: your bedroom, living room, maybe even your pantry. When an emergency hits, you don't want to be searching through dark rooms trying to find the one radio you own. Now we get to the absolute foundation of any emergency preparedness plan: food and water. Without electricity, your refrigerator stops working, your stove might not function, and suddenly you realize how dependent you are on the grid. The absolute minimum you should have is a 3-day supply of non-perishable food and at least 1 gallon of water per person per day. When it comes to food choices, think simple and shelf-stable. Canned goods are your best friend. Vegetables, fruits, soups, meats. Dried fruits and nuts provide quick energy. Granola bars, crackers, and other snacks that don't require any preparation are perfect. Shelf-stable meals like ready-to-eat pouches can be eaten cold, or heated up if you have an alternative cooking method. Water storage is just as critical. Store clean, drinkable water in sturdy containers. Rotate your supplies regularly. Don't just fill up containers and forget about them for 5 years. While 3 days is the absolute minimum, you really should be aiming for 3 weeks, 3 months, or even longer if you have the space. The longer you can sustain yourself without outside help, the better off you'll be. Here's something that catches people by surprise every single time. You can have a pantry full of canned food, but if you don't have a manual can opener, all that food might as well not exist.
Electric can openers are useless without power, and those pop-top cans aren't always available for every type of food you'll need. The mistake most people make is buying cheap, flimsy can openers from the dollar store. When you're hungry and stressed during an outage, the last thing you want is to struggle with a can opener that barely works. Invest in high-quality, ergonomic models that are built to last. And here's the critical part. Don't just buy one. Keep multiple can openers in different locations. If one breaks or you can't find it in the dark, you've got backups. This is such a simple, inexpensive item, yet it can make or break your entire food storage strategy. Beyond your basic flashlights and lanterns, it's worth expanding your lighting arsenal. The more solar-powered lights you can accumulate, the better. Each year, add a few more to your collection. Place them around your property, on your deck, hanging from trees. When the power goes out, you can bring them inside, and suddenly you've got multiple light sources without burning through a single battery. Different types of lanterns serve different purposes. Battery-operated lanterns are reliable and bright. Solar lanterns can be recharged during the day. Some lanterns even come with USB ports, so they can double as phone chargers. The key is variety. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Experiment with different lighting setups to figure out what works best for your home and lifestyle. Now, let's talk about something crucial that often gets forgotten until it's too late. First aid supplies. During a power outage, especially one caused by severe weather, the risk of accidents goes way up. You might trip in the dark, cut yourself while trying to open something, or burn yourself on a candle. Access to hospitals and emergency services might be limited or impossible. A well-stocked first aid kit is non-negotiable. At minimum, you need bandages of various sizes, antiseptics to clean wounds, pain relievers, tweezers, scissors, and any prescription medications your family depends on. If you have the knowledge, adding a suture kit can be valuable for more serious injuries. But don't just buy a generic first aid kit and forget about it. Customize it for your family's specific needs. Does someone have allergies? Make sure you have antihistamines. Do you have kids who might need child-safe pain relievers? Add those in. And here's what nobody tells you. You need to regularly check and replenish your supplies. Medications expire, bandages can get damaged, and items get used up. Set a reminder to review your first aid kit at least twice a year. One of the most demoralizing aspects of a power outage is eating cold food straight from the can. Yes, you can survive on it, but hot meals provide comfort, boost morale, and can make a stressful situation feel more manageable. This is why alternative cooking methods are so important. Here's a secret weapon that most people don't think about: fondue pots. I'm serious. These little devices are incredibly versatile. They can heat food using tea lights or small sterno cans, and you can often find them at thrift stores for just a few dollars. They won't replace your stove, but they'll let you warm up soup, heat water for coffee, or even cook simple meals. Camp stoves and portable grills are more robust options. They allow you to cook outdoors or in well-ventilated areas, and as long as you have fuel, you can prepare full meals. Solar cookers work great if you're in a sunny climate, but they're pretty useless during storms or in winter. And for the coffee lovers out there, and I know you're listening, a camp percolator can literally save your sanity during an extended outage. Here's the critical safety warning. Never use fuel-burning devices indoors unless they're specifically designed for indoor use. Carbon monoxide is colorless, odorless, and deadly. It's not worth the risk. Always cook outside or in garages with doors open and proper ventilation. Even if you live in a mild climate, temperature control during an outage can become a serious issue. When the heat goes out in winter or the air conditioning stops in summer, you need ways to stay comfortable. Warm blankets and sleeping bags are some of the smartest investments you can make because they never expire, they're relatively inexpensive, and they can be layered for extra warmth. Don't assume that just because you live somewhere warm, you'll never need cold weather gear. Cold snaps can happen anywhere, and when they do, they often catch people completely off guard. Stock up on quality blankets and sleeping bags rated for low temperatures. Keep extras in accessible locations so you can grab them quickly when you need them. When the power goes out at 2 a.m. and the temperature is dropping, you'll be glad you prepared. Many of your emergency devices are going to rely on batteries, so having a good stockpile is essential. Focus on the types you use most, AA, AAA, 9-volt, whatever your devices require. But here's where people go wrong. They either buy way too many and let them sit for years, or they don't buy enough and run out at the worst possible time. The key is rotation and management. Before outage season, whether that's hurricane season, winter storms, or whatever threatens your area, change the batteries in devices like flameless candles, radios, and flashlights. Don't wait for batteries to die during an emergency. Check expiration dates and replace old batteries before they start leaking and destroying your devices. Whenever possible, choose devices that have hand crank options or can be solar charged. This reduces your dependence on batteries and gives you more flexibility during extended outages. But yes, you'll still need batteries for many devices, so keep a reasonable supply on hand and rotate them regularly. When your refrigerator stops working, you've got a ticking clock before your food spoils.
This is where coolers and ice packs become incredibly valuable. They won't save everything, but they can preserve your most important perishable items for at least a day or two, maybe longer if you're strategic about it. Fill your coolers with ice packs and your most essential refrigerated items. Medications that need to stay cold, expensive meats, dairy products. Keep the cooler closed as much as possible to maintain the cold temperature. But coolers serve another critical function that people don't always think about: mobility. If you need to evacuate, coolers make it possible to transport food and medicine with you. They're portable, they're designed to maintain temperature, and they can make the difference between arriving at a shelter with supplies versus arriving with nothing. Here's something that might surprise you. Personal hygiene supplies are one of the most overlooked aspects of emergency preparedness, yet they become critically important during extended outages. When water might be limited and showers might not be an option, staying clean becomes a real challenge. Dedicate a shelf or a container specifically to hygiene supplies. Stock it with shampoo, conditioner, soap, toothpaste, toothbrushes, wet wipes, hand sanitizer, and dry shampoo. Those wet wipes and dry shampoo are game changers when water is scarce. They let you maintain basic cleanliness without using precious water resources. Don't underestimate how important this is. Poor hygiene during an emergency doesn't just make you uncomfortable, it can lead to illness and infection. When you're already dealing with the stress of a power outage, the last thing you need is to get sick because you couldn't maintain basic cleanliness. Make hygiene supplies a priority in your emergency kit. In our digital age, we rarely carry cash anymore. Everything is credit cards, debit cards, mobile payments. But when the power goes out, electronic payment systems go down too. Card readers don't work, ATMs stop functioning, and suddenly that plastic in your wallet is useless. This is why you need to keep emergency cash on hand. How much is a personal decision based on your comfort level and circumstances, but think about what you'd need for essentials: gas, food, maybe some emergency supplies you forgot. Don't keep so much that losing it would be devastating, but enough to handle basic transactions for a few days. Don't keep all your cash in one place. Spread it across multiple locations: a jar in the kitchen, an envelope in a drawer, a safe if you have one. This way, if you can't access one location, you've got backups. And here's a practical tip: practice using cash occasionally for small transactions. It helps you get comfortable with the idea and ensures you always have some smaller bills on hand. Multi-tools and Swiss Army knives are like having an entire toolbox in your pocket. They're the ultimate emergency device because they can tackle so many different tasks: cutting, opening, repairing, measuring, and more. Some models have 5 tools, others have 30. The key is choosing one that has the tools you'll actually use. Keep multi-tools in strategic locations. Put one in each vehicle, keep one in your bag, have them in different rooms of your house. When an emergency hits and you need to cut something, open something, or fix something, you don't want to be running around looking for the right tool. These devices are relatively inexpensive, incredibly durable, and they can solve problems you didn't even know you'd have. Finally, let's talk about something that could save you enormous headaches if you ever need to evacuate: having your important documents organized and accessible. When you've got minutes to leave your home, the last thing you want to do is search through files trying to find your insurance papers, IDs, medical records, and bank account information.
Create what's called a bug out binder. This is a folder or binder that contains copies of all your critical documents: driver's licenses, passports, insurance policies, medical records, bank account information, property deeds, birth certificates, whatever you need to prove your identity and handle your affairs if you couldn't return home for weeks or months. Keep this binder in your bug out bag or somewhere you can grab in seconds. Update it regularly, at least once a year, to make sure everything is current. Make copies of documents rather than using originals when possible, though you might want originals of some items. The peace of mind that comes from knowing you can grab your entire life's documentation in one motion, that's priceless. You don't have to buy all 15 of these items today. Start with the essentials: power banks, lighting, food, and water. Build your kit gradually, but start now. Every outage teaches us that preparation beats panic every single time. The people who stay calm during emergencies aren't superhuman, they're just prepared. Now, I want to hear from you. What's the one item that saved you during a power outage? Drop it in the comments. And here's that mistake I promised earlier. Most people buy all this stuff and never test it. They stock their shelves and think they're done. Don't be that person. Do a practice run. Turn off your breaker for a few hours and live like the power is out. Find out what you're missing. Discover what doesn't work. Learn which flashlight batteries are dead and which can opener is impossible to use. The time to find out your emergency kit doesn't work is not during an actual emergency. If this video helped you feel more prepared, smash that like button and subscribe to Food Decider for more emergency preparedness content. Check out our next video on long-term food storage to take your readiness to the next level. Stay safe, stay prepared, and remember, stack it to the rafters.